Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Erin. I am documenting my journey to complete debt freedom and financial independence. I'm coming to you today with a cash stuffing of my sinking funds and then a little bit of happy mail as well. I'm just gonna put money in some binders and get a little bit smushy mushy over the cards that I have received. So let's jump right into things. So today I am stuffing $795 into my sinking funds. I'm not going to go through counting everything because I just can't be bothered. I counted it before. I know that it's there. I always stuff up when I'm counting on camera. And I'm going to be making some changes to my sinking funds and such as well. I've mentioned it a couple times, I think, if my memory is working, but just having some things that are staying in the bank all of the time, and then because it's just they're the same amounts each time, they're always auto deducted, whereas some of my other sinking funds come 2022 I'm going to be making a bit more irregular in terms of the amounts, which I don't mean for that to sound like rude or immature or anything saying irregular. It's going to be changing up. But what I want to start with, and I received these yesterday. I'm keeping them face down because it does have both my name, my full name, my address, which I don't care if you know where I live. If you want to come and stalk me, by all means, try it. Meet my dogs. They're cute and lovable with me, but not so much with strangers. But it also does have the other people. And so I'm taking part in the Christmas card exchange. If you watch Marlene over at Snow Gardener 307 or Shannon at Kitchen Shenanigans, Jesse at Jaywhackers, which is really funny because I used to call it JW Hackers until I realized that it was Whackers. I don't know. I thought her channel was about hacking things like life and all of that, but apparently not. And these showed up just on a day that I really needed them to show up. So they showed up yesterday, both of them, the 8th of December. Today is the 9th where I live. The 8th of December was my father's birthday. And I've mentioned before that I lost my father 24 years ago. It's usually a pretty tough day for me, and so receiving these cards, and especially the one that I received from Kat. So Kat is at the Fit-ish budgeter, and she's absolutely awesome because she does CrossFit, even if you're not into the whole CrossFit thing, but she's very much into exercise and well-being, and she does her budgeting along with all of that. And so she has sent this card that is grateful you are part of our year. Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful Advent season with your loved one. What is so important to me about Kat is that I met Kat about the same time that I met Marlene and others, and we got to know each other through YouTube and different chats and everything else. And when I was in a really bad place health-wise, she prayed for me, and she prayed with me, and other people prayed with all of us for me. And that honestly was probably the most moving and memorable part of my year that I never would have expected I would have from having started a YouTube channel. She has a heart of pure gold, 100%. She has such a good, pure heart, as does Shannon and Marlene and many of the others. But it was the first time in a long time that I had somebody do that for me, and I will never forget it, and I will cherish forever that I am able to call Kat my friend. The second card that I got, sorry, told you, going to be a little bit mushy because I'm a big sap sometimes. And so this is from a subscriber, longtime subscriber, viewer, very honest person. Her name is Mystic Soul on YouTube, but we know her as Lori. And again, I'm not going to open up and show what is written inside because that's just an onion for it. But Lori is also another person who, from very early on when I met her, hugs and prayers, always. It was hugs and prayers, Erin, hugs and prayers, praying for you, Erin, thinking about you, Erin, hugs and prayers. And again, just means so much to me. So they are sending to me blessings at Christmas, but really they are my blessings, not just for Christmas, but for this entire year, and everybody else that is in this group that I am doing this Christmas card exchange with. I could not have found better women and a few men, Leroy, you're cool, through this entire journey and through this process. And let me tell you, there were a lot of days that I really needed it and that I really drew on that, and all of you have done so much. So thank you for making me part of your Christmas card group. I'm so blessed and so mushy stuff over. Lori doesn't have a channel. Kat does, the Fitish Budgeter. Check her out because your life will be better if you make these two people part of it. I can guarantee that, and many of the others. So now to the stuffing, and my desk is a little bit dirty. I'm sorry, I'm going to be kind of messing with things and such there. Car registrations, getting 150, 70, and 80 because I have, well, car registration in Australia is not inexpensive. And because I did my cash exchange with all of my different placeholders, which I got new placeholders from Caroline at Caro Cash, and they're in another room. I will show them in my savings challenge video. But so in addition to the $2,300 that I have in the bank, I have another 100, 50, 70, 90, 200, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm sure if I made a mistake, somebody will let me know, and that is perfectly okay as long as you don't call me names or anything in the process. So car regos is something I'm going to be moving back to digital because it's such a high amount that goes in there. Car maintenance is getting $20, so that gives me 150. That is in car maintenance. And yes, I do have trackers. I do keep track of all of this. I just counting money, putting money in, talking, writing it to the side. I can only do so much in terms of keeping my brain somewhat focused. Our insurance gap is getting $20. And 300 has gone into the bank, so that gives us 350. That is there. The Mocking Hawk, this was my KL, which is now my husband's backup car. She is going to get $20. So her servicing cost about, we just paid $400 for her last service, but we need to redo the brakes, and one of my notes, but we're doing the brakes ourselves because the quote that they gave us, I kid you not, because we do have to take her back to a Jeep dealership to have the servicing and such done. That way everything is done under warranty and whatnot. But the quote that they gave us for the brakes, for the front and the rear brakes, brake pads, all of that, including labor, was over $2,000. Let that sink in for a second. $2,000. I can order, or we can, or what is most likely, my husband can and will order the parts. So we've got in Irish 150. Can order all of the parts from the US, have it shipped out here for less than $500 Australian. So that's after the really bad conversion rate and shipping, which we all know right now, shipping is a horrible, terrible, ridiculous amount. So that is what we are going to be doing for that. And my husband is quite handy. So $20 going into home maintenance, but my husband is quite handy with, he's very mechanically inclined. He can work on cars, he can work on everything else. And I'm just not paying that ridiculous amount for brakes. That's highway robbery. So what I am curious to know, because I never asked, how are you doing? Or any of that, because I'm a horrible, terrible person that always forgets to do that stuff, despite having a note too. So what is the most ridiculous, because I personally think that that quote was ridiculous, the most ridiculous quote that you have ever gotten to fix something? It doesn't have to be a car. It could be something with your house, $60 going into water so I can continue to take a shower and be clean and smell fresh and beautiful like a sunrise. But what is the most ridiculous quote that you have ever gotten? Because I've gotten some ridiculous quotes before and you kind of get used to it, but that one was pretty bad. The appraisal is going to get $20. So we're putting that in to the appraisal and home projects. Am I putting money into home projects? I guess I am, even though we just paid out a large amount for getting started on the garage. And I will, yeah, probably track that. So those are all of the, basically the home and cars, I suppose I should say. Anniversary is getting $10. And I have finally gone through and determined what I want my sinking funds to be at for next year. So I don't know. I might share that video, I might not. It's actually, I mean, it's rather boring just going through and going, how much money do I want to spend where? $5 for my birthday, but a lot of our sinking funds are actually going to get really low, putting lower amounts on them because I do want to focus on the investing. $5 going into Gary's birthday, so 110. And to be perfectly honest, we're not really big gift people. $25 going to Peyton. So my husband is very much he would rather buy something right away if he knows that it is something that I would like or that we have the money for, instead of, oh, I'm gonna make you wait for a year or until this particular day. He's really not a fan of waiting until one day and doing what everybody else is doing on that same day. We do like making holidays about family time, everybody being together, but in terms of making it about gifts and such, not really a thing. And so we've been having some discussions around that and working around changing that up. And I think if we were just to have different amounts, either in savings or just having a kind of like a slush fund of, instead of putting this amount into different envelopes for a birthday or whatnot, let's just put it off over to the side and it can then just be used whenever we want to use it. $40 going into Christmas. So even though we joke about, we'll joke about a lot of things. Sorry, Tay, but yeah, I'm putting the older notes in there, even though they're not as pretty. You know, we make jokes about a lot of those things, but he really is really just I would rather buy it for you now. And I think that's become more prominent over the past year and a half since I got sick, because there's no guarantee that I will make it until Christmas or anything like that. So why not get it done ahead of time? So Easter got $10, so that's 220, 30, 40. I've just kind of got all the feels going on right now with, it's just a tough time sometimes. So that one is getting $10. And remembering the purpose as well, right? You know, the reason for the season and the reason for holidays and birthdays and such, it isn't about items, it is about being able to spend time with people and showing your love for people. And there's so many different ways that you can do it. Now, not that I'm gonna say no to a new handbag or Jeep upgrades or anything like that, but that's not the most important thing for me. That is going in there. So Mother's Day. So yeah, so a lot of these sinking funds, which is probably kind of silly because I just made all of the new envelopes, but a lot of them I'm gonna stop, I think. And other holidays getting 10. We'll use some of this for Australia Day, but not so much for Australia Day, but more because we're going camping for the weekend before Australia Day. Get out of there before all of the other people are there, and taking our dogs and such with us. But a very chatty, making not much sense, but that binder is taken care of. Next, I have kind of all the different random things. So camping is $40. So putting a lot into camping because we are going to be going to New South Wales, fingers crossed, Easter for Camp Coughs, taking 3 vehicles and a camper and potentially our bikes as well. We started adding up the cost and we're probably looking at least $500 in fuel alone for that. Citizenship, I'm putting 25 in here, but we're going to take money from, if you watched my counting my savings from 2021, we're putting some of that money in there as well. So we're going to get all of that paperwork filed. And then I also procrastinated. So it's not like I didn't know, but my passport expired. And you have up to 2 years to get your passport renewed, but then the consulate was closed and there's not a consulate in Brisbane. The closest one is in Sydney. Haven't been able to travel to Sydney. but need to get everything mailed down there since everything is open, because right now I do not have a valid passport. Not like I'm planning on skipping the country or anything, but kind of need to get that taken care of. So money has been set aside to get all of that paperwork and such in. 20, 40, 60, 80, so 100 in clothing. And of course, your passport pictures are the absolute worst pictures ever, because you're not allowed to smile and you just can't do, you know, anything. So everybody looks terrible. Well, no, okay, not everyone. I usually look quite terrible in my passport photos. May as well be a mugshot. So $335 is in medical, and that's going to actually get drained because I have something that I have to pay for, including an additional anesthesiologist fees, because anesthesiologists like to charge over and above. Stupidity for me and my dogs is getting 20, so 120, 40, 60, 80. And speaking of my dogs, if you hear barking in the background, it's them. They're outside, and it's about that time of day where all of the other dogs are outside and playing, and sometimes when they play with each other, they will scare you. Subscriptions getting $15 going in there. That is one of the things with big dogs, is how they play. People get really scared by the way that big dogs play with each other, because it really does look like they're trying to kill each other sometimes. So $100 plus $500 in subscriptions. It's kind of like with I think with brothers. You know, if you had a brother, so if you were a boy and you had a brother, or if you have two sons and how they sometimes play, fight, get along, $10 going into luxury. I think I'm actually going to, I don't know that I'm going to keep this one. I might actually turn it into a savings challenge, but I'll just keep kind of squirreling things. I know exactly what it is that money is going to be used for, and it's not something that's going to happen for probably at least 4 years. Actually 5 years. I have to turn 51. So this is going to be something that is getting money every week in it for the next 5 years. And if I'm still doing YouTube at that time, then everybody will be able to know what it is for. And lastly, just putting $30 towards Callie. So for her services. So she's on capped servicing. I haven't started filling anything else in yet on it. We have made a list of everything in terms of the upgrades and the order and such that we want to do. I am going to be using my Etsy money for this. So, well, some of it, not all of it. So once a month, I will start stuffing these envelopes using sales from my Etsy shop. So if you want to see me stuff more money in this, go and buy something from me. Things are as low as $2.20 Australian. Take off 30% if you're in the US, because the conversion rate right now is horrible, and you get a pretty decent deal on that. So if you want to support my Jeep addiction, that is a way that you can do it, because that is the only way we have decided that I am going to fund it. Might change and do other things at other times, but sorry, it's just not a very fun, happy video. Like I said at the beginning, it's a bit more mushy and somber and solemn and emotional, because it's just that there's 2 days out of the year that things really hit me, and his birthday is one and the day that he died is the other, and that's real life. But I'm not going to go on and on about the musings in my mind and such like that. What I am going to do is say that I hope all of you are having a very, very blessed holiday season. I am looking forward to people in the US receiving the Christmas cards that I have sent, and then also getting more from the people. I'm not kidding. This has made me so happy. This has just made me so ridiculously happy to get mail from people. You guys just don't. I wish that you could just feel the absolute joy and happiness that this has brought me to receive them and to be a part of it. I hope all of you are getting a chance to feel that kind of happiness and that kind of joy, no matter where it's coming from. So do please also remember to choose kindness, show gratitude, always keep a positive mindset. I will see you in the next video.